Okay, so this is now, I think, for the third demo as well, for the Married Without Delay, done by Aubrie, Matt, and Blake. Let's get cracking.
Okay. Just a disclaimer, I was editing this until like 2 minutes ago because something like really broke this morning and we had a rough morning. So I think it's working, but I apologize.
Okay.
We should talk more about GitHub, but yeah.
Well, I pulled our code, Michelle, from GitHub and it was still broken, so I don't know.
Oh no. That's fair.
Sorry, so I'll go back. Anyway, so this screen is unedited. This is a change from last time. Before we just had you and your partner need to be together as bolded text.
Yeah.
We require that they acknowledge it.
I like this a lot better, yeah.
That's our error code.
The only thing that my concern, I think we raised it last time, I'm not sure where we landed on it, was are you guys together? Like, are you in the same room? You know what I mean? Because it's like, obviously we're together, we're getting married, like, so it just might, that's a language thing, but it might just be a bit misleading. I'm not too sure, like, you need to be.
Do you think present would be?
Maybe. I think what might make sense is to say, are you and your partner filling this form out together, or answering these questions together? So
I don't think answering the questions, because they could be answering the questions together.
It's physical space, right?
Yeah.
Are you?
Is your partner present? I think kind of what that suggestion was good.
Are you both able to sign the form right now? Like.
It's very direct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or except that might be like, yes, I'm able, but I think we have to.
Are you both here to sign the form on this device?
That's it.
All right.
Can you both sign on this device?
Right, right now or whatever.
Okay.
But other than that, I like the fact that it's a checkbox that you have to actively do something. I think this is good.
Yeah. Good error message.
Yeah,
and I think the other thing is you want to put the sentence. It's long enough that you want to put the sentence in the sub question, and then have a shorter piece as the label for the variable.
Okay.
Do you understand what I mean? So, yeah. Okay.
Why does it say terms of use when the checkbox is?
Oh, that's.
Sorry, I was just reading more closely.
Yeah, good point.
Unless you agree to the terms of use.
Yeah, you need to use that validation error.
So you need to agree to. You cannot continue.
You and your partner both need to be able to sign on the same device.
Repeat it. Okay.
Well, because the error message that it says the terms of use, it doesn't make sense because those aren't terms of use.
Okay. Yeah. Come here.
Who are you talking to, Caroline?
Oh, sorry. My old guy just woke up.
I just wanted to, I think this was here last time, but this is what happens if you tap what will a clerk ask for, and we have not changed it.
Okay, I like this. I think it's very clear, and I like the way that it's set up. Not, the bullet points make it easy to read.
Thanks, Maeve.
Here's my friend here.
Oh. So cute. Looks like a really nice day in Massachusetts. Wait, you're not in Massachusetts.
I'm in New Hampshire.
Looks like a really nice day.
It's not too bad here. I have the windows open.
It's gorgeous here.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
This is all the
What
same,
happens
right?
if you say no?
So
okay. Sorry. Yeah, I remember. Sorry, I forgot. I've forgotten.
We come to you with some code around this question because the choice here was messing up our review screens, and Quentin and I had to mess with it more this morning because that's part of what was breaking. But I think it's all set. So if we say yes, we only have to input one address, but if we say no, we can input two. But I'm going to say yes and show you how we can still edit the addresses. Even if we say that they have the same one. So this was a change where
Right.
Moved a lot of the, yes, another interaction, I guess, and we changed this to courthouse directory instead of locator.
This
for
looks
request.
much
And
neater.
this,
I think
this
is
actually,
really good.
I think this, I think you don't want to say what court would you like to file in? What court are you filing in?
Okay, sorry, I was trying to find it.
I think that this interaction is a lot more user friendly, and I think that, yeah, I really like this. Good job on this.
You might even say, where are you filing? You might not even have to have court in the question. So where are you filing? And then you've got your sub question right there that's referring to the courts.
I kind of like the court being there because, I mean, that's a like really clear and specific cue as opposed to just, it's just more specific. And I think it might cue people in a little bit better, but maybe these people already know what they're doing, so.
Well, you only file in courts. You don't file anywhere else. And then you've got the
It
question.
just depends if you have that kind of knowledge queued up in your head, not necessarily like.
You've got court name right there. So
Michelle,
Okay.
that's line because here we're having people bounce between their clerk.
That's what I was
And
also gonna say.
you've got, you can only pick a court name.
I know, but I just think that like
Okay.
it might help people differentiate that like the court is different than the clerk, especially because we're not sure if everybody's going to be able to file in the court that their town clerk is in.
What I would correct is I'd say town clerk, because you have clerks at court. That's the most confusing thing.
Okay. I'm looking at the clerk directory. Sorry, this is a total tangent. Seems like we could easily make a database of that.
Okay.
Could we?
Okay. Good.
Are you referring
It's like a
to?
spreadsheet. The list of
And a
town
map, right?
directory, yeah.
And a locator.
Who's that guy? William?
Sorry, secretary.
Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Oh, it says it right there.
He's the
Advertises his
face
name
of
quite a lot.
Massachusetts.
It's really just
Face
out
of
there.
Massachusetts.
Surely it should be like the badge or something.
Hey,
an
when you're an
elected
elected
position, he
official,
puts his photo and name on as many things as he can.
Like to remind everybody this call is being recorded.
Cool, cool, cool.
So Mr. Gavin comes up when we hit find your clerk, and then this provides the information that is in the beginning of our streams, so that they can call their town clerk if they have not. So we will also add find your town or city clerk here and on the button name as well.
And in your question. It's a town clerk told you the best court to file in. I don't know if you want to say town or city. I think you can say town clerk. You don't have to do town or city everywhere.
It's just distinguishing it between the court clerk and the town clerk. That's what
Exactly.
the kind of main name there.
Okay, that makes sense. Ready to move forward?
Yeah. I'm noticing in some, like in Cambridge where I live, it says election commission. I wonder if that's actually the right.
What you call your election commission to figure out where you're gonna to get the marriage license?
I don't think so. That's the only. Well, let's check out. Chicopee says Board of Registrars. Let's see what Boston says.
For town clerk?
It's the Boston Election Department. So that website might have more than one use. Like it seems like they're.
City clerk.
Yeah.
So if you go to Cambridge.
This might not be. So the town clerk might have a broader role in some cities and towns, but in the bigger cities and towns, it's going to show the election information here rather than the main number that might deal with marriages. It's probably a marriage clerk is my guess. I'm not sure.
Who knows? To figure that out.
Let me just take a look for Cambridge, see.
I mean, at least it gets you a phone number so that you can get to the office and then they'll tell you, I guess, where to call.
It just says city clerk's office for Cambridge. So I'm guessing like that's the main title. I don't know why they mix and match here, but probably because they expect people to look up election information using this website mostly.
So maybe if it says town clerk, maybe say town clerk's office. Would that be more like, just so when they come here, they're like, okay, so this still matches the description of what I should be looking for. I don't know.
Because it
I
says
don't
town
think,
clerk's
yeah,
office
I
in some
think
of the
it's,
rows. It doesn't seem like it's that consistent here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Got town clerk,
okay.
town clerk's office.
Town hall.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Weird, because we say
Well,
park as well. So now,
because if it says, you know, even town hall, it's like, at least it's not the clerk. You're not looking for like one person. You're looking for a, you know, but I don't know. Whatever.
I'd say this is kind of
let's
going into
stick,
the
I'm
I
not
think
going to die on this sword. Never
we
mind.
need to stick
That's-
with clerk because all of the instructions say talk to the clerk. So what you would do is you'd call this number and ask to talk to the clerk. I think that's really what you would do. I think it's
That
okay.
sounds right. Sure.
Well, it still might be useful to have that database, but it sounds like we'd have to mix and match. Like we'd have to identify the ones where we don't want election information. There might be like, anyway, it's interesting. I wonder if there's a website that just lists how to get married in who to call to get married in every city and town of Massachusetts. There might be.
I don't think so. We did a fairly, I'm not saying it's not there because we didn't find it, but we did, both Kate and I spent quite a bit of time. And actually it wasn't Kate, it was Katie Milton, looking for this information. This is the closest we could come.
Well, this is very close. I bet you probably only have like 10 to fix. So maybe we should be the provider of that website.
Yeah, I think that might not be a bad idea.
We already have a better database of courts than the court has. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not going to say no.
okay.
And look, Quentin, that started with this is a tangent, but
Now we have a new project.
That's what you need.
I'm imagining
Yeah.
this coming semester could
Oh, okay.
might work on that in one of our classes.
so that
Did
means
you-
not
have you-
MVP, just so everyone understands.
Yeah.
You've already asked your partner's name, right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the
So you want to say, what's the best way for the court to reach you and Jack or Frank or whatever his name is?
So
Will,
for the variable.
Does fiance work? I'm just wondering.
No, we've
Okay.
specifically.
Never mind then.
not-
Okay.
That's a whole discussion.
All right.
So we so
I don't need more. I'm just, that's fine. You've discussed
maybe what we
it.
do is we have the Mako tags with the variable name in there. So you and then the name.
sounds good. Should I do it here as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we have you and your partner in a lot of places, and we'll just replace it anytime that we have it pretty.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Pig Latin.
Okay.
Thank you. Sign it. Okay. So here we have our form. It's all filled out. And you said we have the same.
Yay.
Yeah,
Oh,
we see the same address. Yeah.
note for both you and Mia and Vinny and your teams. You want to add the make changes button on the preview screen as well under the document there.
It's there. I think I saw it there.
Not. I can't get it. I haven't been able to get it to work yet on the make changes or on the preview screen yet. But
Okay, we can go over that.
thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
Just
Just message me, right? Don't let me forget.
I don't know. Is Kate still on the call? She
has another meeting today.
she just mentioned that this should only be the county.
Yeah.
We had the discussion about whether this can be filed in district court, and Katie Milton, our CES, I emailed her our form, and she's gonna, with that question. So she said she's gonna look at it by Friday. So she just hasn't gotten back to us on that question.
Okay.
Just Aubrie, just email her just one more time, just a reminder.
One thing to point out is that is part of the name of the court object already. So you could just do court 0.division and you'd get the division
So if they come back and say that
Or
it's
Field,
unlimited
the-
copy, then
Thank
that's
you. I figured it was built. I just didn't know what it was. So thank you, Quentin.
I can put it on the Slack too, just if that's helpful.
yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thanks. So our make changes has been challenging because when we say that they have the same address, these were connected, but now we should be able to go and entirely change some of these addresses. And it should appear on the form, hopefully, because that's what I was fixing until the moment this demo.
Yay!
Well, it always changes here for some reason.
Okay.
It works on the form, but I think it's working now. Yes, okay. So we can
Very
Awesome.
impressive.
totally redo it, which is lovely. And many props to Quentin for helping with that. And then I broke it. Then I fixed it again.
This is
It's like I
always
might have
so
just not fixed it
nice.
all the way. We fixed it for one edge. You just kept fixing it.
Yeah, we didn't finish it for there's our cover page. We didn't check if it was working with no, and it was not.
Do you, I'm wondering, you see you have your, and maybe this is a basic question. There's a checkbox that says, send me a copy.
Mhm.
Does it, I don't know if this is on you. I think it makes sense to, maybe not, because you don't have the email address. I was just wondering if it makes sense to keep that in there, you know, like automatically send people, particularly something like this,
Mhm.
to make sure that people do have a copy.
Right. So you bake that in, they will get a copy.
Yeah, unless they uncheck it, right? So if they, if that by default, send me a copy is checked, then they have to put in their email address, which people are notorious for not making copies of the forms they file. And so I think it would make sense in general to require people to have a copy.
You might want to show text about why they should keep a copy. Like if people are
There's a lot
notorious
of
in not
information
keeping
on this.
copies.
There's a lot of information on this page.
Okay.
What you could do is in the validate, if there's no email address, that you might want to do something in the validation for the email addresses, explain why it's important to keep a copy.
Well, I'm saying if they hit no on send me a copy, if it's automatically yes, and then they hit no, then a note will appear saying this is why it's important to have a copy. If that's a common thing that people don't understand that it's important for them to have a copy.
I don't think it's important for them to understand. That's not it. It's just that they don't. It's not. They don't think, oh, I don't need a copy. They're not saying I don't need a copy. They just don't remember to make copies, which is a slightly different
Okay,
issue.
got it.
Okay.
I can't remember. So I think we didn't do it by default because there were some forms that were sensitive where we didn't.
I think that's right. I agree, Quentin. That's right. But is that something that people can?
If they can change their mind, you're saying maybe that's still worth doing.
Yeah, because what's happening is they're going to get prompted. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they're going to get prompted. If it's send me a copy, then email address is required. So they're going to get prompted to put an email address in. And if they don't want to do it, then they can uncheck the box. So we could put
but if
something.
they have an account already.
How would we automatically send one if they don't put an email address in?
You can, but they can't continue.
Okay.
So what
I
would
didn't remember
happen
if that
is
was
they would
required.
have to uncheck the box and then they would continue.
Okay, so it's an opt-out as opposed to an opt-in.
Yes, exactly. It's like the whole thing about the emergency. You know, the motion to impound is an emergency motion to impound. The 209A, this is an emergency order. So they have to actively uncheck it if they don't, so in other words, they have to have a reason not to have a copy sent to them.
Okay.
I think that is, and I get Quentin's point about the sensitivity of it, but people know whether it's safe or not to have a copy sent to them.
So a
I'm
follow-up
just thinking,
question.
yeah.
This is only for court forms, so it doesn't apply to the 209A, which is clearly the most dangerous one.
And which isn't going to be submitted. I mean, but to the court either, right?
Do we think we might have their email? So if we filled it in with their email, which I think this screen does, I think if you gave it under contact information,
Yeah.
pre-filled,
Right.
You wouldn't get that validation. Do you think that's still a safe choice?
Well, I think we need to think about what forms are really a safety risk.
See, I don't think this one is, right? Because
This one isn't. No, I
Yeah.
don't think.
What
this
I
one
was
definitely-
wondering is
Mary,
if
you're okay.
does the default specify or accept a variable, like in Mako tags or something? Because
Yeah,
if
you already-
so, because if so, we could have people. This could be an abstractable value that we can have a default for that
Right.
has send me a copy has a default value, and then if it's an unsafe form, then people can change the default value to be unchecked.
or put in a different email address. But if
Oh,
they've
I
already put in
was thinking the send me a copy would be the value that we would be changing, whether it was a default or not.
Yeah.
They're definitely technical solutions. I totally agree, Michelle. I'm just trying to think through
Sure.
the practical ones first, because almost anything we have a way we can do it. Just the question is what we should do is the thing.
Okay.
First.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe outside of this, but we think about the forms we're asking, how many of them are actually risky to send? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
is your landlord really going to know what your email address is and be able to check your email account? Unlikely, right? So
I think it's just two. I think it's the motion to vacate marital home and the 209A. I think those are the only two that we have so far.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the 258E when we get to that
Yeah.
one.
Right.
but it's something that we need to bear in mind that that it's
Yeah, 258E is unlikely because you're not going to be living, if it's 258E, you're not going to be living with that person because you will be doing a 209A. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm just thinking of like cyber stalking, which is certainly a concern.
Mhm.
So in
Yeah.
theory, any of the forms you could be,
I don't know how.
someone could be abusing you through like trying to control your, learning through what things you file. But then that's
Right.
probably not the scenario for us to think of. That person maybe is more vigilant, unless it's a form we already know is potentially involving someone who's unsafe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to say something about sent to court doesn't have an envelope next to it. Sorry. I wanted to say something about the you were starting to have some things that weren't working, before the demo, and that's really stressful. I just want to put it out there that like we've all been developing, we know what it's like to develop, and if you have something that doesn't quite work, that is still okay, and that's still a valid thing to demo. It's just part of the development process. So like we say, ask if you've been struggling for half an hour, right? It's just, we've all been there at this point. So I know that doesn't always make it better, but I just want to start getting that idea around.
Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to put a pin in this. No, I really do appreciate
You
it.
don't even have to worry about it because we'll change it in the basic question.
We need to come up with like a little quote type book for us. A pen in it. Watch out for the time.
Yes.
punches of everyone.
Considered a time. Yeah.
Mindful of the time, right?
Watch the old videos. Thank goodness we've got every single meeting recorded.
Oh, we could do
But we
audio
can
clips.
start
We could make
going
a
through it.
soundboard.
Oh yeah.
Do we have the meetings from Monday and Tuesday of this week record? I can't remember.
Yeah.
There was a question we resolved and I was trying to find it and then the recording wasn't up yet. Do we have Monday and Tuesday up?
It should be
Okay.
up now. They're processing. Just because they're longer videos, but they should be up.
Thanks, Maeve. So
Put a pin in that.
the last two things that we've changed, we this to a copy of your form, and next steps, made this all bullets, and see, this is not updating still, but I know how to fix it. It's just fixing it. And we get a copy of our instructions instead of the cover sheet. I just have to fix this to update.
Okay.
Also, you probably want the instructions before you get to the form.
Okay. Because they've already seen the form a few times.
No, because they need to know. I think instructions are typically it makes sense to do your instructions first.
Okay. So and this is just my note, but should we change the order of this? Download a copy of next steps and your form.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta.
I'm not sure that, I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm not sure how important it is what order you put it in the download. But I think when you get it, it's the most important thing is to get your instructions for this is, you know, this is what you need to do and this is what you need to expect.
Are we sending instructions via email if they send things to themselves via email?
They should get that. Yeah, they should get the whole package.
Okay, so that's how it's working now. Cool.
I don't know if we have any that we're emailing with a cover with instructions other than the 209A, I guess.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it's
I meant if they were like,
the right way to do it. I agree with that idea.
yeah, I meant if they were emailing themselves at the same time as the court, like on the previous screen, if they'd get an email of the
I think they
instructions.
should because they need to know what happens. So when it goes,
Awesome.
one of the things they should do is call the clerk if they don't hear from the clerk, and they need to
Right.
know what to expect at the hearing if they're having a hearing. So there's a lot of other info, because this is one of
Great.
the big issues that people have. Oftentimes they go to a hearing and they come out, and even if they've won the case, they don't know what to do next. They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what to expect.
Just to
And
be clear,
then
I'm
sort of like one of the
I'm not, yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing. That makes me very happy. I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, totally.
That sounds good to me too. I appreciate having the permission to change that. So we will.
Aubrie, this is every time you see a number, you want to actually put the number in. So I say a 3-day waiting period. You want the number 3 there.
Oh, so what, like where it says family court 1 hour after filing? So that's 2
Yeah.
lines in.
Yeah, and also next steps, you will speak to a judge to find out if you and your partner, which you're going to put the variable in, can skip the 3, or should I do it this way so you can see the mirror of the 3-day waiting period.
And then is that going to be included in our style guide?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. That's it for me.
Guys, this is looking really, really good as well. Everybody is just doing such good work here.
I've got other people interested in the style guide, by the way, the language style guide.
Sound like a
Another thing, just
Tyson.
across the board, we'll put it in the language style guide, is most of the time you don't need to put it into the future tense. So I saw you will need to do this. It is true that the clerk will call you back, but you don't have to say you will need, you just say you need to. Oftentimes you can just take out that future tense and just make it be present tense. It's a more powerful instruction.
Okay.
Awesome, folks. Looking so good.
Really, really impressed. I'm gonna stop recording.